So you can probably see that I have alopecia, an autoimmune condition that made all my hair fall out. Now, most of my life, I had lots of long, dark hair, which I loved. It was a big part of my identity. To be honest, I probably used it to my advantage. I used it when I was feeling shy, lacking in confidence. I hid behind it. But then, about 7 years ago, it all fell out, and I had nowhere to hide. But you know, sometimes I think that the worst possible situations can propel us towards a life that we might not otherwise be able to access. You see, I was devastated when my hair fell out, but I was also lucky in that I'm a therapist who's fascinated by the roots of physical illness and behavior. So I was curious to know what might be at the root of my alopecia from a deeper psychological or physical level. And as I reflected and thought about it, I could see that I had a huge propensity for self-sabotage, maybe even self-destruction. And I could see that my body was attacking itself. It was in a chronic state of defense. So in my therapeutic practice, over the last 10 years or so, I have developed a program that I call Simple Listening, that I use to support my clients to find better regulation in their nervous system and to reconnect to health. And it draws from the academic fields of neurobiology, Jungian psychology, and creative practices. And I used this program, these practices, to help me navigate life living with alopecia. Simple listening is essentially about listening to my inner landscape and noticing how my inner landscape responds to my external environment. And that gives me more choice over how to behave in any given situation. At its core, this program, Simple Listening, is about restoring biological safety through a series of practices that, moment by moment, tell me and support me to be safe. Part of what it does is that it stimulates the cranial nerves in the brain that are part of the social engagement system, which is all about creating safety. And I have used the anagram SIMPLE to denote the practices involved: somatic awareness, intuitive inquiry, mindful movement, play and creative practices, whole body listening, and effortless action. Now let's back up a little and look at the basics of the autonomic nervous system, the instinctive part of the nervous system that governs our heart beating, our digestion, our breathing. Fundamentally, we are all looking for safety. Our nervous systems are hardwired to scan for danger as a survival mechanism. Moment to moment, we are taking action to minimize danger so that we can stay alive. Determining whether our heartbeat should race faster so that we can mobilize to run away or to fight, or whether we're safe enough to rest and digest our food. Now, it feels great to feel safe. When we feel safe, we feel connected to the world around us, we feel present, we feel creative, we feel joy, we can be easeful, we can play, we bond with others. When we're in safety states, the hormone oxytocin is released. However, more often than not, we act from a place of defense because we think we're in danger when we're not. We operate from defensive modes of behavior, of anger, of distrust, of irritation, of irritability. Maybe even we go into frozen, immobilized states. Our sympathetic nervous system starts to take action so we can mobilize. Cortisol is released to help our heart beat faster, increases our blood pressure so that we can send more oxygen to our big flexor muscles, the ones that make us run away or fight. Now, it's important to note that cortisol response is actually very useful in the short term in certain situations. Where it becomes a problem is when it carries on, when we're not actually in the danger and it carries on. That's what happened in my alopecia, in my autoimmune condition. A healthy immune system is able to fight off foreign bodies, bacteria, viruses. An autoimmune condition, the body doesn't know what's dangerous and what's not, so it starts attacking itself. So it seems to me that it's very helpful if I can promote some safety states in my body. That's going to help my body find some regulation. So luckily, there are lots of different practices and exercise that promotes biological safety. Mindfulness, movement, exercise, somatic mapping. There are breathing practices. There are loads of different things that we can choose from, and these make up this program called Simple Listening. So what does this actually look like in my life? So the important thing to say is, one of the key things is, I think if we try to make big changes, it can be quite unsustainable. So these practices are simple, they're accessible, they only might take 1 or 2 minutes. But the key is that if you do them regularly and build up those practices, they create bigger changes in the nervous system. So each morning, I might start my day with a couple of these practices. So when I wake up, still in bed, I might practice thinking of 3 things that I'm grateful for. So they might be the same things every morning, they might be slightly different. 3 things that I thought of this morning where I was very grateful for a good enough sleep. It wasn't a perfect sleep. I was a little worried about coming to speak here today, but it was good enough. I felt very grateful that I had enough sleep. I also was grateful that I had a warm, safe bed. So many people in the world do not have that. I think that every morning. I think my bed is safe and it's warm, and that has a really big impact on me. And the third thing that I thought of this morning, which I think of a lot, is my dog is lying next to me on the floor, and his unconditional love just floods my system with oxytocin, that hormone of safety. So for me, that is a really good start to the morning, compared to maybe picking my phone up and looking at emails that might start pumping cortisol around my body. So I'm giving myself a chance to start off in that safety zone. So a couple of other things I might do before I get up is I might do a body scan and see how my body feels. Are there sore places? Does it feel relaxed? Is it ready to go? Does it need a bit of ease through the day? So I can plan my body through my day through my body's response. Maybe it needs a little stretching when I get out of bed. And the third thing that I might do is a breathing practice. Now, this isn't a big, complicated breathing practice. This is just breathing into the count of 3 and out to 5. And the idea here is breathing out to the count of 5 stimulates those cranial nerves in the brain, particularly the vagus nerve, which you may have come across, that helps promote the safety state. So I might breathe into 3, out to 5, 3 to 5 times. Now, that whole thing, from the gratitude to the breathing, might take 5 or 10 minutes. But that is really supporting my body to start off the day in safety. So then, as I go through my day, I might find that I have stressful moments. And I've got various what I call neuro hacks, which sort of cut in if I go into an overwhelmed situation and I feel really stressed, maybe really anxious, maybe I go into a frozen, immobilized state. And these things involve, one of them is orienting to the room. So I could be in a meeting and suddenly I have brain freeze and I can't think of what to say, and I'm maybe getting a bit anxious. So I just take a moment, take a breath, and orient to the room around me. I move my neck and head. I maybe count the lights on the ceiling, and that brings me into the present moment. And what it's doing is it's stimulating a nerve in the neck that's feeding into the brainstem, that's telling my whole vagal system that I'm safe. And as I did that just now, I noticed a big response in my body. I felt my diaphragm release. That's telling me again that my body's moving towards that safety state. Another one that I might do is, say I'm on a Zoom call and I'm getting overwhelmed and anxious, I might make tiny movements. I might move my shoulders, I can move my feet underneath the desk, no one can see that. And those movements can move me out. If I'm in a mobilized state, they move me into a mobilized, moving towards that safety state. It's micro movements, mindfully, can shift that the state of the autonomic nervous system. And then there are other practices that I might do, like scheduling into my week or my month, that continually promote this biological safety in my body. So I try to schedule in playtime. So playtime is different for everyone. We're all different. We've all had different experiences in our life. So it's important to do what works for you. Play could be playing tag on the beach with some friends. It could be going to the gym and socializing there. It could be playing a team sport. It could be playing music. It could be dancing, doing some art. It could be going for a walk with some friends. So you get the idea, some social interaction, something that you enjoy. The other thing you might do is sing. Singing is a great exercise for promoting vagal tone and biological safety. Singing with other people, and you could think, well, I don't want to sing in a choir, I can't sing, but you could chant at a football match. Has a fantastic effect. You're with like-minded, you're with your tribe and you're chanting. That is fantastic for creating safety states. Singing in the car on your own is also good if you don't want anyone to hear you. And the other one that I love, and I do try and make time for regularly, is taking time out in nature to pause and listening to the nature, not sitting with a podcast in my ears, but listening to the birds, smelling the grasses, the flowers, smelling the different smells of nature, listening to the birds, noticing all the different greens around me. So that again really stimulates that, bringing me back into that safety state. So you get the idea here. There are lots of different practices that can promote, that can stimulate these nerves in your body, that help promote a safety state, and the more you do them, the more these nerves will fire, and they become your default. And there are loads to choose from. So the key here is to listen to your body and notice what makes you feel joy, what makes you feel at ease, what makes you feel playful, and then do more of that. It's as simple as that. Do you know, I think sometimes that simple listening is like that small little voice in the whirlwind of life that allows us to, certainly allows me, to reconnect to the world around me. It helps, in my experience, to move from dysregulation to regulation, from disconnection to connection, from fragmentation to wholeness. Somatic, intuitive, mindful, playful, effortless listening has helped me to find safety in my body so that I no longer have to self-sabotage, and I can be okay as I am. I can be good enough as I am, hair or no hair. Thank you.